Nick, we are live, my friend. We are live, dude. We're ready. Dude, listen. What another incredible game. We've already got almost 50 people in here watching with us, dude. But we're going to break this game down. But Nick, this is the third game in a row that LAFC have scored 4 goals. What are you thinking, my friend? What are you thinking?
Let them eat, son. Let them eat. Nah. This is hey, look, man. Listen. Let's be honest. The first half sucked. Absolutely sucked. So let's don't sugarcoat any of that. But what happened? We get that extra time. The extra time from there, boom, we start seeing goals. We see a nice little pass from Smallskoff into Son. Son with that nice little boop boop right over to Bouanga. Bouanga nails it in the back of the net. Starting off the second half, the energy felt good. You've seen a little RSL trying to get some momentum, but the boys kicked it back and said, absolutely not, will not let it happen. And I thought it was very, very, very classy of Bouanga when he scored the third goal to go over to the man, the myth, the legend, who we were all celebrating today, Mr. Carlos Vela, and give him his flowers, give him a hug. Carlos told him how great of a job he did. Absolutely love this game, Will.
Look, there is a lot to break down, but before we get into that, we have 77 people in the chat with us. Make sure you like this video down below if you haven't already. It helps us out. Share with a friend, share with any LAFC friend, soccer friend, Korean friend, anyone that you know, share with them. Me and Nick are going to be breaking this game down. We appreciate all of you guys for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We hit 10,000 recently. We're going to try to hit 12 or 13,000 before the end of the season, especially with the MLS Cup playoffs. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and hit that little bell notification so you never miss any of my watch-alongs videos or any of these post-game recaps. But, Nick, what an incredible turnaround for LAFC. Let's start off with the first half, right? First 30 to 40 minutes, I was very concerned with this team. They weren't playing the same formation we saw. Instead of playing the 5-3-2, they were playing the 5-2-3. They had David Martinez, Sonny, and Denis Bouanga playing up top. And it was disastrous. Not because Sonny or Denis were not playing well. It's because when you have Denis or David Martinez playing next to them up top, it crowds the field. It gives them less space. It makes them have to play more narrow. And they didn't have the chances or opportunities. And plus, when you're playing with 2 midfielders, what the hell was Steve Strundalo thinking? First of all, the midfield is already bad enough when they're not playing their 5-3-2. But when you have 2 midfielders, you have Delgado and you have Tillman playing in the midfield, there is no creativity whatsoever for this LAFC team. And they just struggled so bad in the first 35 to 40 minutes of this game.
Yeah. Look, we talked about the formation change the last 2 games that we've scored for. I am 100% going to echo what you said. Not excited to see the 4-3-3. Wasn't wanting that at all. And if it was, I wanted it to be Tillman because we seen what happened in the last match where they constantly were moving around. I mean, we talked about this on the last show, right? So wasn't excited to really see Martinez. I know he's somebody that we all as fans have to be excited about. But I got to be honest with you, it doesn't fit the system that we need right now. We need it to really just be the two up top so they can eat. As I said at the beginning of this, let them guys eat because you see it. They are feeding off of one another, Will. It is incredible to watch. And look, it's just not Mr. Son. It is also Denis Bouanga. This is a new man. He is a new man. He broke the record of 2020 this particular game. And it's just beautiful to watch, man. This guy looks happy. The happiest I've seen him with LAFC yet. And so where we thought he might be leaving at some point, I don't know if he leaves now, especially with Son being part of this crew. I think he does what he can to stay here and play with someone that he has super chemistry with. They have this brotherhood. You see now they're doing it like an NBA jump type thing. It's actually pretty incredible, pretty beautiful. I love everything about it.
Okay, I have to do a shameless plug real quick, guys. I want to show because this is what Kimchi says. Bouanga plus Son equals goals. So I got to show the shirt that I made. I got to show the shirt that I made because I think this represents it perfectly. Let me find this real quick. I made this shirt the other day because of this. And it says Sonny plus Denny equals goals for more than one reason, right? Not just because of their friendship. People want to be friends like Sonny and Denny, but because when these guys are together, they only score goals. That's what they do. These guys have 12 goals combined in the last 3 matches. Denny has 7 and Sonny has 5. Incredible. I don't know if 2 players have ever scored that many goals combined in 3 matches in MLS history. When these guys are together, they're breaking all kinds of records. They're breaking all kinds of records. And by the way, if you do like this shirt and if you want to, if you guys want to buy it, I'll put a link in the description that you guys can check it out and see if you want it. There's 2 colors. It's a pretty cool shirt, and I thought it was funny as well. But back to the game. These guys are incredible, Nick. They play together. I said this last week. This is the best duo in Major League Soccer. It's not even close. When these guys are together, it's a nightmare for opposing teams. They're wondering, I have to stop Sonny. I have to stop Denny. Like they got these teams' heads on a swivel, and they just don't know how to contain these guys. And I want to bring up this point real quick. As bad as that first half was, Denny was able to score because Sonny had a beautiful lay to him back, a pass to him, set it up perfectly for him to score. And then Sonny had one of the most impressive goals you'll ever see with the left foot off the post in the back of the goal. Like these guys, even when they're playing bad, that's what's scary. They can still score 2 goals on you in 2 minutes, man, and just take control of this game.
100%. Again, I'm going to echo everything that you said. It is beautiful to watch these two. I don't know. I mean, he is now tied with Messi for the Golden Boot, and we have 5 more games left. Everyone that has been a Sonny fan has said, hey, look, this is just a beginning, and we only have 5 games left. So what I believe that means is Son knows that he's in that race. He is going to be looking to give Bouanga every opportunity. But again, we also seen Bouanga today try to make an unselfish move and get one to Son, where right after Bouanga scored his 3rd goal, he tried to send one off to, his 2nd goal, he tried to send one off to Son for him to get a 2nd, and that's just showing the unselfishness. This is what Son has brought to this team, is unselfishness. We talked about that before, but it truly is. It is infectious, bro. And you see Bouanga no longer feels he has it all on his shoulders, Will. He knows that there is someone else that can score. So if I am double teamed, I know he's not. I'm looking for him. Or vice versa. You're being covered. I'm open. Give me the ball. Let me hammer it down their throats. And that is what we've seen the last 3 games.
I agree. And, one thing that we talked about, too, is we talked about how Sonny and Harry Kane had such great chemistry with Tottenham. But what they've been able to build so quickly here in LAFC Special, this is the best duo in LAFC history. It used to be Diego Rossi and Carlos Vela, but this has surpassed that because these 2 guys are just incredible. I mean, they are. You got to be honest about it, right?
Yeah.
And I know that the Korean fans who are new to this league, they heard about Denis Bouanga, and he disappointed the first few games, and we got to be honest about that. But now what he's been able to do, they're like, man, this duo is incredible. Sonny looks so happy. Denny looks so happy. They're playing great ball together, unselfish ball, and they are scoring a lot of goals. And because of that, who knows what's going to happen? Ben Fans has gifted 1 MLS Moves membership. Appreciate that, my friend. And I want to ask you guys this. How impressive have you guys been with Denis Bouanga? Because obviously we know what Sonny can do, but you guys are, some of you guys have never watched Denis Bouanga play before. How impressed are you with Denis Bouanga? Do you think he is playing to the level you expected after you did hear he was a good player? Let me know. But man, Nick, I'm just telling you right now, this is a scary team. It's a scary team, man.
Yeah, no, listen, I think we are very scary. And I can only say, man, imagine if we had Son during the beginning of the season, where this team would be, how far ahead that they would be and stuff like that. You can only think about it, right? And again, this is why I go back to Denis right now. Like, before, I think he had aspirations of leaving and saying, okay, you know what, I'll call it. I've done my thing here in MLS. But now having the guy that he's here with, and, you're talking about Harry Kane and what their relationship was, this is pretty involved. Like, these guys are understanding each other's play easily, man, like easily. It's just like that look that they have, Will. It's impressive to see and to know that you could have a whole year with him and to really show people what you can accomplish if you have that style caliber of player. It would be in the best interest for Denis to try to stay and play with him and see who they bring in next. You've now seen Palencia be signed to a longer contract. You've now seen Tillman be signed to a longer contract. We're starting to see what this team is going to look like even without Dolo around. So to concrete someone like a Denis to be there with Son and then see who else that they can bring in to put with those two pieces would be really incredible, especially with whichever manager we end up going with, knowing that Dolo's out. I'm excited for these next 5 games in the playoffs, but I am excited for the future of this club with the little bit of time that we've got to see from this incredible new player that we have.
Well, and look, guys, when Nick's on here, we're going to look at the standings and where LAFC are ranking after every watch along to see how close they are to the first place in the Western Conference, because that is important. And I think that they have a good chance of catching up to that if they can win the remainder of their games. But Nick, we have been friends for a while now. And I want to say this, the LAFC were chasing Antoine Griezmann before they signed Son Heung-min. That's true. The guy they were going all in for. That was the guy that they really wanted to bring in here and play. And a lot of people, including you and I, were very upset when they never landed him. And he decided to stay at Atletico Madrid. But my God, what a blessing in disguise this has been that he never came. Because if he had never came, guys, Son Heung-min would have never came to LAFC. He would never came to MLS. And the impact he has had on this team, on this league, is way more significant than Antoine Griezmann ever would have been able to do. And I think at this point, you can make an argument that Son Heung-min is a much better player than Antoine Griezmann at this point and what he has done for this team. Now, that could be debatable, but Sonny is just, I just don't know if this team would be playing nearly as well if they had signed him. So I just say that to say what a blessing in disguise it was that Griezmann never came here.
Yeah, that's a hard one for me to say, but it's the truth, right? Like, look, we can't deny numbers either, okay? And let's just put this in perspective for the people, because I'm an Antoine Griezmann fan. There is no doubt about it, right? And I was all for that move happening. However, Son is an icon, especially coming from where he's coming from in Korea, okay? You look at the jersey sale or the kit sales, right? He surpassed Messi and LeBron James. That is a big thing. But listen, you got to understand, those numbers are still finagled, and I'll tell you why. The jersey sales weren't even allowed in Korea at this time during the count. Had it been in the sales allowed in Korea at the same time, those numbers would be so more lopsided than they already are. But because it is the Messi and LeBron, I feel that they didn't want to open that because they didn't want it to be so lopsided. but they didn't understand how much of an icon this guy actually is in this world of soccer that we love so much, that his numbers still surpass Messi, still surpass LeBron James. And that is incredible, Will. That is incredible. And so, yes, what he has done for MLS is on another level, dude. It really is. And I didn't think anyone would move the needle as much as a Messi, but he has. I mean, he truly has.
He has.
And we talk about numbers. 46 touches Son had. Let's see. 3 out of 5 accurate passes. What was it? What was that?
Yeah, they said Luna had like 60 touches. Sonny had like 46. And we need to talk about the stats too of this game, because that's important too. Because at first, like we said, there wasn't a lot of chances for this team early in the game for LAFC, but things turned around. They made the most of each opportunity they had. First half, let's just start with the first half. Possession was 51%, 49% RSL. LAFC had 10 shots in the first half. RSL had 8. And LAFC had 5 shots on target. RSL had 2. So they obviously had more shots on target, more shots in general. They had an expected goal rate of 0.63. RSL had an expected goal rate of 0.52. And so I mean, our LAFC, I think, dominated towards the end of the first half. Now, like we said, they didn't do well in the first 30 to 35, but they kicked it into gear, found themselves when it mattered most, and were able to do what they needed to do to come out with the lead in that second half. Or the first half, excuse me, towards the end. Now, the second half was a little bit skewed because, LAFC were in the lead, right? They had this game in the bag, especially after Denis Bouanga scored that third goal for them and his second goal of the game. But in the second half, LAFC had 42% of the possession. RSL had 58%, but that was because LAFC were kind of just playing a little bit more conservative. And I have to say this too, Nick. I was a little concerned about LAFC in the second half a little bit out of the gate, because they were playing a little tired. They were playing more like they were in the beginning of the first half, where they weren't really playing with that energy, man. Like they were tired, lethargic, kind of just, conservative, that dolo ball, man. Like they weren't really chasing or pressing the game, but they obviously kicked it up a gear. But RSL had 11 shots in the second half, man. 11 shots, 2 shots on target. LAFC had 4 shots and 3 on target, but LAFC were able to convert, and they were more, efficient with their shots than RSL were.
Yeah. So for keeping count, that's 14 shots total for LAFC, 19 shots total for RSL. That's 4 shots on target for LAFC, 4 shots off target for LAFC, 7 off target for RSL, 8 shots on target for LAFC, and 4 shots on target for RSL. Yes. And again, this just shows you, man, like, even though they're not dominating and holding the ball, it's the quality shots in what they're doing now, Will. We talked about it the last 3 games. They're not kicking it back so much to Hugo to restart. They're really pushing forward when they do have the ball. Yes, it's less than their opponent, but still the time that they have the ball matters the most. They're pushing forward. They're making the right runs. They're finding the right pockets to be able to get it up to the boys up top. And then the shots that Son and Denis are taking are quality shots.
They are. And that's what's scary. And like I said this before, and I'll say it again, they didn't play a complete game in this match. They were just efficient in their opportunities, and they're still able to beat this team 4-1. And it just makes me wonder what they're going to be able to do when they play a complete game, the whole match, and they're playing the best ball that we know that they can. But they're still figuring things out, and they're making the most of it. Like you said, 19 total shots for RSL, only 4 on target, and LAFC had 14 shots and 8 are on target. They were just the better team and made the most of their opportunities. Now, let's talk about, so obviously Denis Bouanga and Sonny were the 2 best players tonight. And I'd like to know you guys, because, it's debatable, right? Who was the man of the match? Would you say it was Denis Bouanga with his hat trick, or would you say it was Son Heung-min with his goal and his assist? Who do you guys think was the man of the match for LAFC tonight? Was there any player that you were disappointed with in this game for LAFC? Because it wasn't all good. I'll tell you who I was disappointed with, and it's a guy that you and I both really like. I thought Smoliakov did not look very good the first half of the game. He was kind of quiet, didn't have any really opportunities on the left side. I think pretty much he was probably the one player I was most disappointed with, and pretty much a decent game from the entire team. I just thought he would be better than what he was, but maybe it was just the formation and how they changed up a little bit. Was there anyone you were disappointed with tonight?
I mean, I think Denis Bouanga deserved man of the match 100%. Hat trick, and he has 20, so that's a big deal. As far as I'm a fan of Smallskopf. I think that he did what he had to do with the formation that we had. So he isn't getting up as high. He's not really playing the wing. Really, he's really on the back line, being that. And then you've seen the change. I mean, he is who facilitated the first goal. From Son to Bouanga for the first goal. So, I think he did his job there. For me, it's Delgado. I don't think Delgado has been that great this end of this season. Tafari also, Tafari, to be fair, did have a great chance at a header. Really put a sacrifice in there. You can see he hurt his jaw a little bit with that. So I was happy to see him sacrifice and do that for us. But I worry about Tafari a lot. But Delgado for me is one of the weakest links in the league in our team right now.
What about David Martinez? Because I thought he looked pretty shaky in the beginning of this game too.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about that at the very beginning, right? Like, yeah. I didn't want him to be the starter. I'd rather have seen Tillman be able to go back and forth. I just think, if I'm honest with you, we see glimpses of a very great player in Martinez, but we see more of okay player than we do the great that we expect.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the history that was made tonight, and then we're going to talk about what the standings look like, and if LAFC still have a realistic chance of being in first place of the Western Conference. But before we get into that, guys, make sure you like the video down below. We're almost at 100 likes. We've been at around 200 the entire time tonight. We're doing really well. We're excited to have you guys here to talk about this game. Make sure you like this down below, and also I'm going to put Nick's. I forgot to do that, but I'm going to put it in the description. Voices of Black and Gold podcast. You guys need to go check Nick out and go subscribe to him. I'll be on his show tomorrow night to talk about this game as well, and we'll dive into more about what we saw after probably watching a little bit more and break it down more. But I'm going to put his channel in the description. You make sure you go subscribe to him, and make sure you subscribe to us as well. But Nick, Denis Bouanga made history tonight. We talked about this a little bit. The first player in MLS history to score 20 goals 3 straight seasons in a row. And I'm critical of Denis Bouanga. You know that I have, because I expect a lot of him, but he just made history tonight. And I do think that there's a real question now if he's the best player in LAFC history. We talked about that last show, but man, he's doing things that Carlos Vela never did.
I mean, again, numbers can't lie, bro. You have 3 seasons of 2020. And not only that, bro, like we still have 5 seasons left. 5 games left. Not including the playoffs, and he has plenty enough room to run with it, and I think that's really going to speak volumes. Who will catch him in this type of run is going to be impressive. He's sitting right now at 22 goals, tied with Messi at the top for the Golden Boot. I believe that he has a great chance to win the Golden Boot this year. Actually, no, I really do. I believe that he has a great chance to take that over and win it. I won't be surprised if he does win it. The conversation of him being a great, and when he does leave this club, to have his own statement when like they did for Vela today. I think that's a real chance, and he would deserve it.
Yeah, so here's the current race right now. Denis Bouanga is currently tied with Lionel Messi with 22 goals for the Golden Boot race in Major League Soccer. Inter Miami, I think, have 6 or 7 games left, and then LAFC have 5 games left. So it's going to be neck and neck, very close. But like a lot of people said, Sonny is not a selfish player. He's probably going to do everything he can possibly do to help Denis Bouanga win the Golden Boot in Major League Soccer. So I would not be surprised, and I think there's a good chance that Denis Bouanga could win the Golden Boot, especially because he has 7 goals in the last 3 matches. So we'll see what happens. I'd like to know if you guys think Denis Bouanga is going to win the Golden Boot or if you think it's going to be Lionel Messi. It's going to be a tight race, and we will see what happens. But, Nick, let me ask you that. Do you think Denis Bouanga is going to win the Golden Boot?
I do. I think he has a great chance. I think you just said his son is now going to be aware of this. He's going to do what he can to try to facilitate those goals, and they're going to work as a team in these next 5 games, and we'll see. Like, yes, Miami has 2 extra games, but, I think that Denis has all the momentum behind him right now.
I agree. We'll see what it's going to be a close race. It's going to be very tight, but you know what? It's going to be a battle, and I think he's got a good chance to do it. Now let's talk about the standings, okay? So as of right now, LAFC are, I think, guaranteed to finish top 4, okay? Guaranteed to finish top 4. They have 2 games in hand versus Minnesota. Minnesota's up by 4 points, so if they win those 2 games, Nick, they will pass Minnesota and be number 3 in the Western Conference standings, and then that will put they have the same amount of games left as Vancouver. Vancouver is a very hot team right now, guys. They're playing very well. They were a team that was very good at the beginning of the season. But if they win both games, they will only be 1 point out from San Diego FC. I think that LAFC are going to finish top 2 in the MLS standings in the Western Conference, which would be an incredible turnaround for this team. And I'm going to pull up their remaining schedule too, so that way everybody can see this as well. But Nick, how are you feeling about LAFC's chances of finishing top 2, top 3 in the standings heading it down the stretch of the season?
I think that they make it top 2. And that's huge coming from 5th place most of the season. And then, you make this little run and you get up there. But San Diego's playing well. And, I think they could drop 1 game, maybe to the Timbers, but I think LAFC has a chance to win this out. When we're looking at it, I'm not worried about St. Louis, not really worried about Atlanta, Toronto. Austin will give a good little fight. They always do against LAFC. And the only one that's really concerning LAFC going to Colorado, if they don't get the 3 points and they only get 1, I think there's a place where you can – but I believe LAFC makes it to 2nd place, and then they go into the playoffs in 2nd place in the West. So feeling really good about where they came from to where they are, rolling into that playoff spot.
Yeah, real quick, Ulea says Son looked upset after the game. Did we miss something? I just think he was upset at the referee because the game was poorly officiated all night, and we've talked about how bad the refereeing is, and we know that Sonny is a guy who is very respectful, keeps things to himself, he never argues with referees or anything like that, but in MLS he's been really upset with how they have called games, officiated games. So I think that has just bothered him with what he's seen, and that's probably, and then I think a little bit he was maybe a little disappointed that Steve Cherundolo took him out of the game because there's only a few minutes left. I think Sonny wanted to probably finish that game, but I think his anger was more directed at the official than it was Steve Cherundolo.
Yep. It's definitely towards the refs. We've seen it time and time again. We spoke about it a few times. He does not feel the refereing is up to par with what the league is doing, and that's understandable. There's times that they make questionable calls, some that you like, some that you don't like, but it nonetheless is questionable. And it's just him being passionate. All you guys know, he's a passionate guy. And when you feel like you're being, having calls that are unjust or whatever, you're going to say something. And I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing him be a leader. We're seeing him being someone that shows passion for this club. And I'm all for it.
Did I miss that? The ref pushed Sonny. I did not. I don't.
Well, they did. They tried to tell him to hurry up. He was saying his buys and everything, and they were like pushing him on his back, like guiding him a little bit, which, don't do that. Let me walk off at my leisure.
At my own pace. Right? Celebrity, man, right? Now, back to this schedule, Nick. If LAFC, I think LAFC are going to beat St. Louis. They're going to beat Atlanta. They're going to beat Toronto. They're going to beat Austin. Colorado, I agree, is the one that I think that they could struggle with. But me personally, I think that they ride the wave and they win out. I think they're going to win the remainder of their games because the way they're playing, barring Steve Cherundolo's tactics screwing this team over. But I think that this team has figured some of their deficiencies out, and I think that they are going to be very good down the stretch of the season. I think they have a really I think there's a greater than 50% chance that LAFC win the remainder of their games.
Oh, I think there's a greater than 50% chance too. I mean, you look at our line. I mean, they should be able to win out all the way.
Yeah, because they're I mean, Austin FC playing Austin might be a little difficult, maybe the travel, but I think all the road games are pretty favorable to them. And I think my thing is I think if LAFC can win the remainder of their games, if they can go 5 for 5 and get those 15 points, which will put them at 65 points, they will finish top 2 in the Western Conference. They will finish top 2 in the Western Conference. Now, it's going to be hard to be first place, but I think it could happen. And Kimchi, a good friend of the channel, says minimum 12 points, please. And Ulea says, yeah, he didn't even get his penalty. Yeah, that was a bad call. I thought Sonny did get fouled inside the box. I don't know if you remember that play where he got clipped in the feet, and I think he did get fouled in the box. But the refereeing was just abysmal as normal in this game. But Nick, I mean, this, you know what? I just want to say this too, because I want to, as we wrap this up, LAFC are actually fun to watch again. This is the first time that they have scored 4 goals. Well, first of all, they've only done it, I think, one other time this entire season, but they scored 4 goals in 3 straight matches. They have only scored 4 goals in one of their matches this year in MLS, but they have scored 4 goals in 3 straight matches, 12 goals between Son Heung-min and Denis Bouanga, and they are actually fun to watch again, which hasn't been the case in many years. It's not dreadful to watch them anymore.
Yeah, and also LAFC is the first team in MLS history to have a player score a hat trick in 3 consecutive matches. They're rolling high. It feels like it was back with Vela and Diego Rossi, but we just have a different dynamic duo, right? But this could be one for the history books of MLS in a way, Will. As I said, 20 games for Denis Bouanga, and you were questioning at some parts of the season, like, yo, what is up with this guy? What is up with this guy? He doesn't look happy. Now he looks like he found his best long friend, and that's what you want. It's exciting to watch. You see them smiling. You see them having secret handshakes and celebrations. This is the LAFC that we're used to. This is the LAFC that we want to see. And it is good and nice to see that all these new fans are seeing what we have seen from the beginning of our existence till now, and getting in to enjoy, the excitement of the 32-52 and the loud chants and the stadium being full and seeing goals being scored, not just being scored on, and especially being able to hold it down at BMO Stadium. It's all impressive right now, man. And again, you cannot deny the fact that Denis Bouanga is putting on a show and Son is putting on a show, and they are the best duo in MLS right now. So, of course, that's going to make LAFC the most exciting team to watch right now.
Yeah, and Police Your fans asked why no one's playing a low block. I don't know why they're not trying to clog the final third of LAFC, and they're just giving them so much space when they finally get in their rhythm. And Son Heung-min, for some reason, RSL's played this guy 2 times, and they have not double teamed him. He's had way too much space, man. And I'm thinking, what are you guys doing? Why are you giving him this much space? He will make you pay for it, and he has. And if you do double him, then that leaves Denis Bouanga open. So I don't know why. The managers, Police Your fans says brain dead managers. Yeah, there's some really bad managers in Major League Soccer. There really is. Yeah. And by the way, Steve Cherundolo is one of them. But they're winning in spite of him. Nick, just to close the show out, I want to say this: LAFC are the hottest team in Major League Soccer right now. They've got 12 goals in 3 games. They are outscoring their opponents 12-4, I think. Yeah, 12-4, so 8-goal difference. And they're consistently just scoring, man. And I think that this is the best time for a team to hit their stride going into the playoffs, which is a little bit less than probably about 4 weeks away at this point, which is hard to believe. This is exactly where you would want to be, man. and LAFC are probably the best team in Major League Soccer right now.
It's an exciting time, man. It's an exciting time. Like I can't quit smiling. When you say certain things, my skin just gets all like, because it's exciting. It makes you feel happy. And we have sort of got away from that at the end of last season, the beginning of this season, because we knew Dolo was going to be here. But in despite of him not being the coach that we need here, the guys are still putting on a show. I can't wait for the future of this club. I'm excited. I can't wait for the next 5 games to find out where we are. If we are in the second place, third place, it does not matter. This team going into the playoffs is going to be dangerous. We have a great chance. We said this last week. We have a great chance to walk away with the MLS Cup if we continually play the way that we are playing right now.
I agree 100%. And I want to say this. I'm going to give you the final word. But before I do, guys, Nick's channel is in the description. He's the best LAFC podcast channel that there is. Make sure you guys go give him a subscription. He's going to be live tomorrow night. He's live on every Monday to break down the games. He's a good friend of mine. He puts in a lot of hard work. He's been doing this for years. Make sure you guys go show him some love. Go subscribe to his channel. He deserves all of the viewership, all the subscriptions, you guys. You need to go check him out. He is the man. Nick, any final words before we head out of here?
Well, first of all, I appreciate those kind words, man. And I appreciate any of these of your nice, fine followers to come over and check us out at the Voices of the Black and Gold for sure. Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And Will, it's always a pleasure being on your show, man. And I'm glad that you hit 10,000. I hope anyone that isn't subscribed or hasn't hit that notification button that they do for Mr. Will here, because as you know, he's giving me my flowers. Let's give him his. I mean, 10,000 is huge. And he gives you all the MLS content that you want. Yes, I am an LAFC fan, so I get to come in here and talk about that, but he does it all. He covers every team, and it's incredible to watch. And so I appreciate the opportunity to be here, Will. Thank you for allowing me to come on your show and get to talk, about LAFC with you, man. I always enjoy it, and I enjoy your watchers, and they're always kind to me. So thank you for having me, brother.
I appreciate it. Guys, make sure you like this down below if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the little bell notification so you never miss a video. And Nick and I will probably see you again next Saturday as well if everything goes according to plan. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Until next time, I will see you all soon.